Welcome to Into the Pit. We're going to talk a little bit about ghost hunters today with the one and only Mustafa Gatollari.
What's up? What's up?
How are you doing, my friend?
Doing really good, man. Doing really good. Admiring this amazing, balming New Jersey weather. That's sarcastic if you couldn't tell. It's disgusting out, but it's fine.
Hey, if you got rain, send it this way because we need it bad.
You guys need it?
I need it very, very bad.
Texas doesn't get rain?
We have, you got to understand, I'm in the middle of Texas. So
yeah.
it either just barely misses coming all the way down or coming all the way up.
Well, we were in Pampa. We desperately needed that, but it was hot as hell over there, man. I felt bad for our production coordinator, our Russ, man. Poor guy. He was a trooper about it, though. Huge dude, and he was just sweating before we even got out of the cars. I was like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Okay, the burning question is, is the rumors true? Is there no more ghost hunters?
That's the thing is I don't know how that, the idea that there's no more ghost hunters got started. I mean, we haven't been renewed by A&E. I think, I saw what Brandon said on the Midnight FM podcast and our radio show when he was talking. I saw some clips of what he said, heard it. I saw stories online and I was like, oh, all right. We all knew that A&E didn't renew the show back on, I would say, I think June 2nd is when we had a call from the production company, Pilgrim Media. So representatives from Pilgrim Media, people who, I know for me, I can't speak to what anybody else, any kind of calls that they got, but when I spoke with them, it was all pretty much my understanding was that it was the same across the board, was that A&D did not renew the show. Now, I think a lot of that had to do with, as I stated in my Instagram video, a lot of that had to do with the fact that COVID happened. We literally wrapped up I think a month before the lockdown started happening, or people were talking about a lockdown. So that was, we were fortunate to get season 2. We wrapped up in Alaska and we got back home and everybody was safe and sound. So that was good. It was kind of hairy getting out of Alaska. We almost didn't make it. The boat almost freaking sank. But we we made it back. Everything was cool. And then we heard about that. And then we were kind of left on the, okay, when we're going to find out about the pickup. So we're kind of worrying, waiting, and the ratings weren't too bad. The ratings are actually pretty good from all accounts, from what I was seeing. And then Brandon was, he has a lot of experience in that. He worked in news media, I think something 7 years, a crazy amount. So he understands ratings and all that stuff really well. And then I went and I looked up the reports and I saw oh yeah, wow, cool. Compared to other paranormal shows, we're there and we did way better pretty much every single time. So comparing numbers, we were really good. So I'm like, okay, well, this should be fine. And then as weeks went on, we're not hearing anything. And it's kind of it kind of gave me PTSD, flashbacks of when I'd have girls who would ghost me and stuff. It's oh no, they're not talking to me and they're saying everything's fine. Or I see their posts on Facebook and they're clearly doing stuff, but what's, and then I find out they're greenlighting other shows. I understand why they wouldn't do a season 3 renew right away, because our show is, one, really expensive to produce. Even if you just look at the production values of our shows compared to other similar shows in the genre, and you could dispute me on this if you think I'm, talking smack, but or just saying something that's not true. But I think the production quality is high for A&D. They kind of have a very high standard, and we have a big crew. It's 26 people, I think, including the team. So there's a lot of us, and it costs money to produce. Just to put into perspective, and I don't know if this figure is accurate, but talking to a member of our crew, one time we went to a location in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, ended up being not what it was supposed to be. So then we ended up going to Madison Seminary instead. The Madison Seminary was very boom, boom, boom. We just did it. But that one in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, we went there, we had to pack up and leave. And that cost us about, I think just leaving, cost us $70K, almost $70,000 or something like that. So that's just to pivot and just to move everybody new hotel. And we didn't even fly, we drove. So you can only imagine how much it costs to coordinate flights and lodging and accommodations and everything for everybody. And then we had one case in Alabama that we did that just like wasn't up to snuff for our standards, so we just didn't air it. So there's like money that's lost, and this is big money. So I think the combination of it being expensive to produce, not knowing how we're going to shoot the show because we have a certain production style and a certain production method and a process of doing it, and the very nature of the show is we travel to a bunch of places. It's just not something that I think that A&E was going to, commit to right then and there. So then we didn't get the renewal for it. And then I started seeing stuff like online. It's like, the whole live PD backlash. And again, I can't comment to that. And I know A&E is getting flack for that. Personally, I just talked with somebody from A&E and had an email from her 30 minutes ago. We're going to be on an Alien Con panel. I think all the members of the team, I think with the exception of, I don't know if Grant and Kristen are going to be on there because I know I didn't see them on the email. I saw Kristen on the email. I didn't see Grant on the email, but everybody was on the email from the team. And then I'm pretty sure Brian, Rochelle, Daryl, Brandon, and myself are going to be panelists on the Alien Con virtual thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's they're still in contact with us. And I did an interview for an Australian magazine about a month ago because I think season 2's going over there or is airing there, started airing there. So the relationship with A&E personally and professionally that I've had has been nothing but great. They're awesome, but they just haven't talked about renewing the show at all. And from my conversation, and again, this is my personal opinion, from my conversation that I had with production at Pilgrim was that, it didn't seem like A&E was gonna pick it back up. So then we got that phone call, I think around June 2nd. And then I think there was like an idea like it was going to be shopped around to like other networks and stuff, but we didn't hear anything. And then I, saw that stuff that Brandon said, and I said, okay. And I had like inbox was like hundreds of messages from people asking me. I said, let me do a video. And then, but from my understanding, I think like, Grant, Brandon, and myself were all pretty much saying the same thing. A&E didn't do the renew. I'm not saying that there's no chance of the show ever coming back. I'm not saying that there's no chance that, the team I thought worked well together, and I thought that we had some really, really great evidence and some great cases. And I don't think there's anybody on the team who wouldn't be willing to come back and do it again. But that being said, our contracts have expired, and we're not, as far as I know, mine has. So I'm not, committed to the show in that regard. So we'd have to kind of start all that up over again if there is going to be a renewal.
They just didn't tell you. You're the only one who didn't get renewed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they just I'm the only one. Everybody else has it, and they're like, "What the hell is Mustafa talking about?" They don't want this big-nosed Muslim on the team anymore. They're like, "Get this guy out of here. He's annoying." They cackle. I don't blame them. I can't stand myself either. So it's just going. I'm going, all right, that's cool. That's fine.
So I guess basically is nobody knows anything at this point. It can go either way.
Yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? I just like to operate from a place of it's not there, it's not happening. If it's not there, it's not happening. So like, I mean, I got a call for to audition for this like project from Disney, and you and I talked about it. I can't really say much, but like, it's an on-screen thing and it's like a big thing, and they're like, yeah, we like you, da da da. But I was like, until I get that contract, and until I said, not even that, like until I get, like, I didn't even think, like it wasn't even until like I think like the 4th case that we did where I was like, okay, cool, like I'm on Ghost Hunters. Like I don't really trust anything like ever. So like, we'll see what happens. But again, that's me personally. Other people might know different.
You're gonna be Ghost Rider or Adam Warlock? Is that what it is?
Adam Warlock, that'd be kind of cool. Adam Warlock would be cool. That'd be dope. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I can't imagine myself as a hero. Maybe like this, like the henchman to the villain or something, like the main villain. Very human. I just want to, if it was anything like that, like in Star Wars, I'd want to play like an alien in all like makeup or something. So we'll see.
Y'all are gonna redo the Apple Dumpling Gang. You remember that movie? Oh, I love those movies, man.
The apple dumpling gang. That's like that's like even before my time, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like but I know it. I know it. I grew up watching all that stuff. It's so weird. So
See,
weird.
that goes to show how old I am.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say it, but you did. So here we are.
And you missed my birthday,
Oh, when was it?
the 5th.
Oh my God! I feel like such a scumbag.
I hit the big 50 this year.
Jeez Louise, October 5th, 50 years old. How's it feel?
Like I'm ready to see 51 and get out of 2020.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. I had a pretty good 2020. You know, that's, I feel almost guilty like saying that, but like it was pretty good. 2020 is pretty good. You know?
Well, I mean, other than a lot of the inconveniences and stuff, a lot of people, their lives have changed for the better. So,
Yeah, mine has for sure. You know, it would be nice to know what the future of the show is, but I'm other than that, like I'm good. Like things are really really good. Got the book coming out with Brandon, so that's really awesome. We've been working on that. We submitted our first draft. We got some edits that we're doing. We're working on that, so that should be ready for I think first quarter 2021, depending on when Llewellyn wants to put it out there. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how that was going because I know y'all talked about doing a project together.
Yeah, we got that. There's some documentaries that we've been shopping around too, and then so we can't really, again, still preliminary stages, but yeah, they are pretty cool. Some true crime stuff. So it's pretty dope. Like yeah, we have a really good working dynamic, so I'm happy about that. So things have been going really well.
And y'all still been keeping up with doing events and stuff as well?
Yeah, we've been doing them. I've been trying to get like more out. I did a Mineral Springs with Brian and Rochelle a few weeks back. That was a lot of fun. You know, I know you and I have been talking about potentially doing some stuff in Texas. So like if anybody watching or anybody has any cool locations that they would want me to come out to, I'm game, man. I love to investigate. You know, every time we do the events, we make sure, and this isn't just me saying it like politically, you know, we make sure that we do all like we have people to test there, we have temperatures taken, we follow all the state guidelines for whatever it is for COVID and all that. So we keep the groups down to a minimum. We follow all of that. We're pretty strict with that actually. So yeah, I mean, it's been going great. Yeah. I love events. I just want to go to like more locations and just do more investigating. Especially with these like iconic places, and if they've been like empty for a while, like that's the one thing we noticed in season 2 is like we go to places that have been empty or never investigated before. We go in and there's just like crazy amounts of activity, and we didn't know how that was going to go, you know, because everybody's always going to your Penhursts, you know what I mean, your Waverly Hills, which we did. Everybody's trying to go to like the same places, you know, Sugar Shack, with Sugar, whatever it was, like, I was gonna say Sugar House, but that's like a casino up in, in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Sugar House. But yeah, like we just love finding new spots, and then Brandon's got a list of like 80 spots that no one's ever investigated before, and like you always think there's no way this next one's going to be as cool, and it ends up being cooler. You're like, how the hell? It's like, so yeah, if there is a renewal, or if there is like anything like that too, it's like we have so many potential cases that we just love to sink our teeth into. But yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to stay busy too.
Yeah,
you go stir crazy, and plus you don't want people to forget you.
I don't even think it's like yeah, that's the other thing too, is like, you know, if you want to talk about that, it's like the idea of like celebrity, right, and like keeping your name out there. It's like it's a fine line, because I have a great friend of mine who is very successful in the entertainment industry, and he's a real honest guy, and he's worked with like top people, and he always said, he's just like, if you are interested, genuinely interested, you're going to be interesting, and people are drawn to something that is interesting or an interesting person. And if you can genuinely find an interest in something, whatever it is, sorry, my phone's shaking, but like if you can genuinely find an interest in anything, then That's where it is, man. That's where it lies, because you can go and like pretend to be something for a long time, and yeah, that might work in the short term, but in the long term, what's going to ultimately end up happening is you're going to be a miserable son of a gun, and people are going to smell it on you. And even if they don't smell it on you, it's like, it doesn't do anything for you. Like, why would it doesn't do anything for you? Like, why did, again, this is a lot of things like my friend says, and maybe this will piss some people off, but like, why did Michael Jackson chop off his nose? Why did Elvis Presley die on a toilet? These are gifted people who had gifts, and they didn't really do things that made them honestly happy. So they sang great, and they sounded great to you and I. I mean, I watched the Unchained Melody in Vegas of Elvis, and he's all like shaking, but once he starts singing, it's like I cry when I watch that. But it's like, yo, he didn't feel any of that. So it's like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be somebody who's like, yeah, Mustafa, oh my God, I like this thing that you're doing. And then meanwhile, I'm just like a miserable freaking dude who just wants to eat Jack in the Box like all day. Like, it's like, I want to enjoy my Jack in the Box, man. I want to enjoy it.
Well, you need to come to Texas and have Whataburger. That's the thing. Enjoy it more.
You know what I love about Whataburger? I love it. It's just mustard comes standard on the burger. They put the mustard with the ketchup. It's a game changer. It's the best. Oh, you got the cup. Tremendous. Yes. Absolutely tremendous, let me tell you.
You can't go wrong with the Whataburger anything for, Christmas, birthdays.
No, absolutely not. I'm going to get a Whataburger tattoo. Everyone's like, is that the Van Halen thing? I'm like, nah, it's Whataburger.
Well, speaking of Van Halen.
Oh, yeah. Van Halen, not Van Hagar.
Old time.
Yeah, bro. I love that. Cupid, what a great album cover. Cupid with the cigarette. So cool.
I told my wife and my daughter, I said, y'all should dress the baby up and take a picture just like that.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should do it. My wife would go crazy because she hates cigarettes or anything cigarette related. So it's like we'll be watching a movie, someone will be smoking. She's like, turn this off. And I'm like, meanwhile, you're watching like, was that a girls' night movie or rough night or whatever? And it's like within the first 20 minutes, they do cocaine and kill a male stripper. And I was like, she's like laughing. I was like, look at you. Look at you.
It's like okay. That part's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like being told to stand up straight from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what are you doing?
So, yeah. To make it clear to everybody that's watching, there's no misunderstanding. Everything's cool between everybody on the team. No arguments, no fights, no nothing. Everything's cool. It's just not being renewed at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything, like, what would there be a fight about? We pretty much all said the same thing. Like, I think like people are kind of turning this into like a thing of like, it's like Mustafa and Brandon have like a different messaging than like Grant. And it's like, what I said wasn't, anything different than what, Brandon or Grant said. And yeah, I think like other members of the team were kind of like, we kind of felt like, it's like, why'd you guys talk about this? Like, why'd you like even say that? It's like, I don't know. I didn't listen to Brandon's interview, but like, I didn't the whole thing, but I didn't even think that he said the word canceled. I think it was like put up, like canceled. I think he used finished or like something. And I don't know if he thinks the show's, not going to come back or it's finished in this like capacity, then, I think he's entitled to saying that or thinking that. But yeah, I would say for the most part, like things are cool. Like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with working with anybody when it comes to paranormal investigating, as long as like, they're not fraudulent. Like, I don't care. I'll work with anybody. But if like if you're a fraud and you lie about stuff, then yeah, like in the terms of the case, like that would be the only thing. Like I'll work with anybody as long as like you're not a fraud. So like we don't have that problem on the show. So it's just like I don't think that I don't see any reason why that would happen. So no, everything's pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I'm pretty cool with that. I can't speak for anybody else. Maybe they're sick and tired of me and my fucking stomach noises and all that shit on Sunday. It's like, I can't work with this guy. He's impossible. I think
you don't give yourself enough credit, man.
Yeah, no, I secretly do. I just this is all an act. This fake humility. It's just that I'm a fraud. I'm like fake humble.
I got you. Well, people are going to start saying stuff, and they're going to think up everything under the sun. Oh, Brandon and Daryl's fighting, or whatever.
Yeah.
People love to say those kind of things, and I just want to make sure everything's clear.
Yeah. We've talked with each other, and there's we've had off camera, sometimes on camera, and they won't put it in the show. We'll be like, well, I don't think this is legitimate evidence that should be submitted for XYZ reasons, or okay, what about this? Did you find that? Well, I think this is not a good way to go about the investigation. And then, what I'm always is okay, why? What's your reasoning? What's the evidence for that? So I just think people have different opinions. Some people like to rely more heavily on feelings. I'm kind of more okay, let's go with what happened, as opposed to what the feeling is. So if you don't think that something is evidence, okay, then state your case, why? And then if it's just, well, I just don't feel like it is, it's okay, well, why? Well, I just don't feel it. Then I'd be okay, well, I you know what I mean? So I think, that we've never really had anything like that on the show. So that's the only way, in my personal experience, when I would do paranormal investigating, even before I got on ghost hunters and stuff like that, is that's the only thing that would stop me from working with somebody, is if it's just okay, they're either deluded in a bad way, because some delusion's helpful, you know what I mean? My life's going great and I'm going to go after everything, and a world's burning all around you. I think there's a healthy amount of delusion that should happen in the world of COVID, that, we just keep working and you can get focused on positive things and doing actual work to get yourself out of it. Or you can, or if I've also ended relationships with people because I found out that they were frauds. So it's if I find out that somebody's coming in and, they're manipulating equipment or something like that, in prior investigations and stuff, I would just be all right, let's, or photoshopping stuff, which Grant addressed right away when we had it in Batavia, where somebody photoshopped something. He uploaded a video. Hey, we found out that this person falsified this photo that made it to the show, and he addressed it right away. So there's a lot of good things, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the team is of that caliber. We all kind of have that standard. That was what Pilgrim brought us in for, is integrity. That's what everybody talked about. From my understanding, everybody talked about from before we got selected for this team. So,
well, that was a sentiment between everybody that I've interviewed from the show. Everybody has said the same thing. If there was going to be any kind of compromise of, y'all's integrity, that everybody was going to walk off.
Yeah, and production never really tried to get us to do that. You'd have some, producers who would work on the show, and if they had never worked in paranormal before, well, let's try this, or could we go back to this location and do a setup here? And we'd be absolutely not. And even our camera guys, Kendall Welpton, who's amazing, he's incredible, probably one of the most seasoned paranormal investigators himself out there, but he's usually behind the camera. Brilliant guy, and he was very, very, very much an advocate for anything like that. Mike Nichols was EP, very, 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 very much a believer in our process. Sometimes we'd have to do they're called wild lines, where we'd have to redo a line just in case we missed something for clarity that we said in the moment, but they're we want to get it cleaner, so can you say that again? So we would do that. And sometimes wild lines, I'd be well, this kind of isn't what I said, and I'd call Mike and he'd be well, I wasn't there, you're the boss, best. And the producer heard him on the phone, I'd be okay, I'm not doing it. So it was, everybody's had those moments where they, kind of pushed back a little bit on something where it seems like it's inconsequential, but it ended up making the show fantastic as a result. So,
well, your reputation means everything, and people can tell if you're not genuine or not.
Yeah. And if they can't, then it will come back, and even if it doesn't come back, like, you're the one who has to live with that, like, you know what I mean? So I like to borrow a phrase from the tagline of one of my favorite movies. On the poster of No Country for Old Men, you got Josh Brolin running in the plains, and you got Anton Chigurh, freaking Javier Bardem's face, and on the bottom it says, there are no clean getaways, or it's like, there's no such thing as a clean getaway, and the boogeyman will always come back to get you no matter what. So you gotta, one way or another, it's gonna get you. It's not karma, it's yourself. So I think I'm really proud of the work we did on the team and that kind of stuff. So the fact that we maintained our integrity, any kind of miscommunication, any type of thing like that, or if there's a kind of supposed, like, difference of opinion as to the future of the show or something like that, it's like, saying the same thing. A&E didn't renew us, and we'll see if they do. Maybe they might. I don't know. But as of now, I'm not under contract. So if I want to go do Mustafa Gone Wild in the Bahamas.
You need a cameraman. No, I'm kidding. And the great thing about you guys is, even when you don't agree, you can still come together and talk things out. That could be a lesson to a lot of people in this country right now.
I agree. No, I won't go into politics to talk about anything like that. But
I'm not going to do that.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree. Tremendously agree, let me tell you. So we're good.
Exactly. Yeah. We steer away from that, especially on this show. Even when you don't say nothing, you still get in trouble. So
yeah, exactly. Well, why didn't you say something? It's like, oh God.
I don't like to isolate anybody. That's the deal. I have my opinions, but I don't like to isolate anybody that watches this. I don't want to make anybody feel bad because they might not think the same way.
Well, that's because you're a good guy, Kyle. You're just a great guy.
Don't let that get out. Then people are gonna believe it.
Yeah. Just pin a rose on your nose.
But back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Sure.
We can't give an exact place, the exact time, but it looks like January you'll be coming here to Texas.
I will be. We're working on getting an event in Texas. For what area are we looking at? Like,
can I say the town?
We can't. Let's say the town. Let's just say the town.
Mineral Wells.
Yeah, we're looking at a place in Mineral Wells. We're gonna see if we can work it out. So if anybody's watching and they want to come and investigate, we'll be putting out information for that. That would be really, 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 really cool. It's a location that I've heard about a lot. And I just love one of my favorite investigations ever took place in Texas, Pampa, at the Worley Hospital. So I've been trying to get back to Texas. I mean, we had Alien Con last year. We were in Dallas. That was incredible. The response was huge. We had people waiting. I never thought I'd be giving a panel, and I had it was like a line of the room was packed, and you had another 200 people outside trying to get in, and I was like, holy smokes. Are you serious? I'm not even selling hot dogs or something. I understood if I was selling a great taco or something, people are gonna wait online for that, but to hear us talk, that was pretty cool. I thought that was really, 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 that was a pinch me moment. So very, very thankful for that, and we'll see what happens. I mean, future of the show, I know a lot of fans are upset, and I just want to thank all the fans for supporting, and
of course,
and even people who talk smack, is who don't like it or whatever. It's thanks for commenting that you don't like it too, because it's just I disagree. I think our show's great, but if you thanks for giving that traffic to it, because if you don't like it, then cool, that's good. That just gives more clicks on our stuff. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, they say there's really no bad publicity.
No such thing as bad publicity. So thank you both supporters and haters alike. I really, really want to thank you for that. So, yeah.
You're welcome.
Allah.
So where's the Alien Con going to be at this year?
It's gonna be all virtual, man. We'll be posting links and stuff on our social media. I mean, I will. I'm pretty sure everybody else will too. So A&D is holding that, and I think Brandon and I were going to talk a little bit about our book that really dissects what the formula of a haunting is. So we have some ghost hunters cases. We got it cleared with Pilgrim, got it cleared with A&E. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff like that. Llewellyn's doing great. Love the book. We have some like pretty great edits that made sense in terms of restructuring it and stuff. So we're working on that. So yeah, we'll be talking primarily about that. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be tons of fans who have questions about when's season 3 going to come, or like what are some other cases we can do, or what's this, what's that, like what's the reason for this, what's the reason for that. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we? There's not really much we can say. We don't know anything. We've been left on red. Been left on red, which I always take as a bad sign, but I could be wrong.
Left in limbo.
Yeah, left on red. Seen. It's right there. Seen. Okay.
Right.
I just told you I love you.
So when you do these events, do y'all get to bring those really cool cameras that y'all used on the show?
Sometimes we do. I know Brandon's got the EMCCD. That was through a connection that he has. And if you want to get an EMCCD camera that's of the same caliber as the one Brandon got, used, they run like anywhere from like the cheapest one I found used was like $7,500. So like, I would love to bring an EMCCD and put it in the location and do that, but there's some investigators who purchase some. I mean, Keith Bailey, who's very active on social media, and he's really active in Texas. He was at Alien Con last year, and I think Keith Bailey's got like 1 or 2 of them. So if anybody's doing events with Keith Bailey, he's got your back with the EMCCD cameras, and I've been looking into getting one myself to bring out, but yeah, we'll bring out some stuff a lot of times. So the thing with a lot of the events is we will review evidence after them, and then we'll have the event organizers who we will review evidence with, and we'll post them up online, because I kind of love going to review audio after. Like, that's like one of my favorite things to do. So a lot of the devices I think we use in the moment are like EDI, the EDI Plus data loggers that we use that kind of gauge the different environmental conditions in real time, because people love that real-time feedback. They love it. Instant gratification. Let me tell you, it is a terrible plague on our species. No, but we love that instant gratification of like, hey, is this that? And people respond. So I kind of welcome anybody to bring any type of devices or anything that they want to do. I just don't. There's certain things I won't use in a professional investigation when there's a client in mind and I'm really trying to get data. Like, I'm not going to use a phone app, while I'm trying to get evidence for a client. I'm not going to use like an Ovilus or like an SLS or anything if I'm trying to show that to a client, because a lot of those devices and a lot of that tech is kind of predicated on the supposition that this technology actually documents paranormal phenomenon, and you can't subject it to any scientific scrutiny. It's predicated on the idea that you already believe. So a lot of the clients who may be believers might be cool if they see something like that, but I personally think it's way cooler if you put an EMCCD camera like in Galena, and there's a blue light that came out of nowhere. It started shimmering on the screen. It mimics the exact shape that the owner, Frank, said he saw with his eyes. And as that was happening in the background, you see that there are pressure changes in the building. So you have confirmation of a visual sighting that the client saw on a camera that shows an energy source materialized out of nowhere. And at the same time as that was happening, there were pressure changes that were being registered. So to me, that's a lot cooler than being like, there's an urban legend that some kid fell off a balcony, and you're going in there and you're like, is there a boy who fell off a balcony? And you're talking to like an ovulus and it says Charles. And it's like, there's a boy named Charles who fell off a balcony. It's like, why the hell did that thing say Charles out of nowhere? I have no idea. There's no one who can explain that. It's a random thing. So it could be a boy named Charles who fell off a balcony, but I just have no way of providing like a very empirical data log of this is what it is and this is what occurred when we did that. So, hey, you want to bring it? No problem. And I'll have fun with it. I'll have a lot of fun. But if I'm going to go bring that to a client,
No, some of those things are a good little reference tool, I would say. But as far as, posting it as actual evidence, there's too many things that compromise those devices.
Yeah, for sure. It's like the difference between like, there was like jiu-jitsu guys that I knew, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners who like, they would roll around with me and like show me some things and it was like fun. But then when they were training for their fight, like they're not rolling around with me. Like they're getting top level guys who can choke them out in a matter of 8 seconds. They're not worrying about like, Big Butt Mustafa from North Jersey who's, kind of knows how to do a guillotine choke. And it's just like, okay, like I'm not a threat at all. So it's like, they'll take it and they'll let me get them in positions just so they can work certain things, but they're not going to, when it's serious training time, I would be embarrassed to even try to step in the gym with guys like that. So, there's levels, there's levels to it.
Well, I guess what really hurts is when you watch some of these shows and they bring these pieces of equipment on and then, everybody wants to swear by it. And then when you find out that it can be compromised, there can be, discrepancies, then a lot of people take offense to that. And I get it. And I'm not saying that none of that stuff, any of that stuff doesn't work at all. And you can't really use that as definite evidence. But, there are times where you have a piece of equipment go off and then you're able to, verify that there is something actually there using a different method. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. And like, we get pretty serious. I'm pretty sure if like Pilgrim, wanted to, they could do a smash cut of like us getting like frustrated when there was like a producer walking somewhere because we hear footsteps and there's reports of footsteps in a place. And then I happened in Clifton when Daryl and I were investigating the Elks Lodge on one of our investigations. And then I could have swore it was like one of our producers. And then I was just like, we were like, it was like long in the night and I was like really into it and everything. And I heard these footsteps, sounded like a person was like walking. And I could have swore it was one of the producers, and they have it on camera and they have the audio. I'm just like, who the fuck is walking around up there? Get down now. And then I was like, we're investigating. And then like all the producers, all cameramen are quiet. They're like, there's no one up there. And then Darren and I look at each other, we're like, we were on up because it sounded literally, I thought it was one of our producers who was up there. It wasn't. He was outside. I was like, ugh. So it was really cool, but we get heated. We take it real seriously.
But I've got kind of an opposite story for you. Was in Seguin, and we were doing an investigation on this house, and they were trying to fix the place up.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was pretty run down. There was a hole in the floor, and they had a bunch of stuff piled up in this one specific room. And mind you, we're the only ones there. Even the nearest neighbor's kind of far off, so nothing, nobody could come in and we wouldn't know it. And we hear, it sounds like something is running across the room, and then we hear this loud bang, tripping out like, oh my God, something's actually here. And then I go and I find out it was a freaking raccoon.
Are you serious? I'm going around the back. It was a raccoon that was there. Say hi. You're on a podcast.
Hi. You're internet famous now.
That's my mother-in-law. That's my my wife's cousin Melly. How you doing? Hi. They're fine. Sorry, my house is weird. It's like you walk in, and I just got a new place. It's like you walk in and you're just in the house. You're just right in the living room. Like, there's no hallway. It's just you're there.
There's no place like home.
You're sweet, Kyle.
But anything else going on that you want to mention before we end this?
Oh yeah, just we got a ton more events. I got an event on the USS North Carolina in November. It's gonna be me, Daryl, Brian, and Rochelle. I think it's on November 21st. I have Haunted Red Mill in Clinton, New Jersey. There is a virtual event. Daryl Marston and I will be there this Saturday. I think they have like a haunted house there. I have a feeling they're gonna try to scare Daryl and I, and I don't know. We're gonna show up there and we'll see what happens. But we're also gonna do an investigation, a live investigation. There's a link in my Instagram bio. You can check it out. Haunted Red Mill, Clinton. It's a historic location. They've kind of been really hit hard by this whole COVID thing, as most places have been. Yeah. And so there's that. And then we're gonna be doing a trick-or-treat event. It starts at 6 at Haldeman Manor in Bainbridge, Pennsylvania on Halloween on October 31st. So we got Haunted Red Mill in Clinton this Saturday, 24th. Then next Saturday, the 31st, we got Bainbridge. And then I am going to be in Ohio, November 6th to the 8th. I've been trying to get a hold of Adam Kimmel at Madison Seminary. Won't return my calls. I'm going to go to Madison Seminary. I want to talk to him because we're talking about Madison Seminary in the book. So yeah, I know he's got like some ill will towards the ghost hunters peeps. I don't know why. But yeah, I would just really, really love to get a chance to speak with him because I can't. So Adam, if you're watching this, please, man, turn my call. Stop dodging me, bro. Come on. Grow up here.
Come on, bro.
And then, yeah, just please, seriously. And then, yeah, so I'll be there, and then I'll snap a selfie in front of Madison for the fans if he doesn't come out. And then November 21st, I'll be at the USS North Carolina, and then I'm going to be in Kansas City at Vail in another location on December 4th and 5th. So very busy, a lot of events.
And hopefully right here in good old Texas in January.
Yeah, Texas, baby. Oh, 2021, we're going to have a lot of events, man. You don't mess with Texas.
And we're still trying to get you hooked up in Utah, so.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Do Utah. And anybody, if you're watching this and you have ideas of, like, really cool venues, locations, they don't have to be big events. I really just want to investigate with other paranormal investigators and enthusiasts because there's especially this Mineral Springs event that I was at. There were so many people who are very, very excited, genuinely, like I talk about interest, genuinely interested and being like, okay, what can we do? What do you think about this? And I was learning stuff too. So for me, it's a great learning experience and it's really, really great. And I'm just excited to interact with fans and then other, paranormal enthusiasts. I kind of had a very small group of people that I worked with in Jersey, and most of them were kind of fraudulent. So it's cool to find people who are all about the work. And if you're about the work, I'm about you. And that's it. That's all I care about.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I am, aren't I?
You're such a nice guy. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We've kind of cleared the air a little bit.
Yeah.
If things change, you find out anything and you can talk about it, let me know and we'll get
100%.
on. Get you on.
Yeah, 100%. I'll like literally right when I know. Like I said, my contract's expired. That's when I decided, I had people to talk about it. And I just felt bad, because fans kept asking. So I was like, all right, I don't want them to hold out like any false hope, if they're like constantly going to the A&E site and then trying to hope when it comes back on. And since I didn't hear anything and, since Brandon said something, I figured, might as well just go out and, offer my thoughts. And I'm glad, Grant clarified things too. And we're all pretty much saying the same thing. We haven't really heard anything from A&E and we'll see what happens.
And if everybody misses it that much, they've got it on demand. So go watch it.
Check it out. Yeah, go do it there.
I think I watched it on Hulu I think it was Hulu.
Yeah, or I'll send you some illegal torrents. I'm not going to do that. I mean, you could, but don't do that.
Well, the other night I couldn't sleep, so I figured I'd turn on Ghost Hunters and I know I'd put them to sleep.
That's great.
I
That's
got
great.
you. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for joining us, and I hope this makes things a little bit more clear. Don't give up on our guys. They're either going to come back to A&E or they're going to be somewhere else. Y'all ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but yeah, and if you guys ever want to investigate or do events or anything like that, or you have questions and stuff, I might not respond to it right away, but like, just let me know. I'm down. I'm always down for an investigation at a cool spot. So let me know. We can do this.
Okay, my place
right.
Next weekend.
Let's do it. I'll be there. I'll bring the P.I.T.T.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, see you.